which is an important part of meditation, being able to say good enough. Because the whole point of meditation is learning how to relax the mind. In the same way you can relax the body. You don't have to be perfectly healthy to be able to relax the body. In fact, if you had to be perfectly healthy first of all, you never have the opportunity to relax the body, because there's always something going on in the body. Some irritation, some ache, some sickness. As one person said about life, the definition, the meaning of life. Life is a sexually transmitted terminal disease. Which is actually quite good. I really like that one. It's always going to sort of have some problems. But it doesn't matter, we can relax, never mind. In other words, never mind what's happening with our body. In the same way, we can relax, with our mind as well. It doesn't have to be perfect, it's good enough. Because when you don't understand the word good enough, it means there's always something to be done, something to be fixed up, some dishes to be washed, some problems to be solved, something to be swept up, and it means we never have the opportunity to find some peace. If you think you have to make everything perfect first of all, you'll die before you find any peace in life. So this retreat center here is pretty good. But there's lots of things wrong with it. There's lots of crows pooing outside the windows. I don't know why they do that. They're crazy. They see the reflection in the glass and they think it's another crow and they try and fight it. Which we don't mind them doing that, but when they sort of poo all over the floor, it's not perfect. And I'm sure this morning's breakfast was not perfect. Not quite the same as you get back home. And maybe the seat is not really perfect. It could be longer, it could be fatter. And the weather is not really perfect. It could be warmer. I did say one of the last retreats, the next meditation retreat center I build, I'm going to have these things which come down, your personal air conditioning unit. So you can actually adjust your own little temperature just right, not too hot, not too cold. And have these high-tech meditation seats. So you press the button, they go back this way and they go back that way. So you can adjust it until you're just so right. But even then, people would complain, because in this world, it's never perfect, but it's always good enough. And so if we always say good enough, it means we can rest. We can stop doing things, complaining, changing things. So what happens when you stop changing things? You say good enough. It means there's nothing to do. And when there's nothing to do, then you do nothing. You just sit here, and because you're not doing anything, then the mind becomes peaceful. Then you start to meditate. Then you start to feel the silence of the mind. There's nothing left to say, because there's nothing to do. You just sit there quietly enjoying satisfaction and peace. I often ask meditators, can you recall the most peaceful time of your life? In all the years you've lived, when and where was the most peaceful experience you've ever had? And why? And you will find in that most peaceful time you've ever had in your life so far, had this beautiful feeling of contentment. It's as if in those few moments, for some reason or another, you didn't want anything in the whole world. That everything you needed, people, place, whatever, it was good enough. Which meant you could relax and enjoy the moment, enjoy the peace of not having to struggle or strive for anything anymore. Those beautiful moments when everything was perfect. Even though there was many things which were wrong, it was still perfect. And in those moments, there are moments of peace, moments of freedom. One of my favorite sayings is that when you want something more, you can't enjoy what you already have. You can't have any peace when you want something more. So be careful. In this meditation, don't think, well, I've read Ajahn Brahm's book. You can get first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana, and then the 4 stages of enlightenment. Now today's Saturday, so Saturday I get first jhana, Sunday second, Monday third, Thursday fourth, and I get stream winning on Friday, and maybe full enlightenment on Saturday, because that's when we're finishing. Actually, I missed out a couple of days there, but it doesn't matter. But no, don't schedule it like that. You know, I know many of you come from Singapore, but this is not Singapore. This is laid-back Australia. You can try and do the koala bear practice, just sitting down in the tree, having a peaceful, happy time. That's why I've got my assistant here on this retreat. This is my assistant, Ajahn Teddy Bear. And that teddy bear sits so still. Look at it, it hasn't moved all morning. That's a meditator. And it's so soft and cuddly and nice. That's why it can sit still. It's got lots of metta as Ajahn Teddy Bear. But in order to find that stillness again, you can recall, where were you still before? Why were you still? Why did you have these beautiful feelings? And it's because for one reason or another, you stopped this wanting button, this wanting thing. There was a great Tibetan monk. Actually, he was very wise, but some of the stuff he did was really ridiculous, because he actually was an alcoholic. But nevertheless, he was the one who gave this term, spiritual materialism. Because he went to the United States and he realized that most people, they're in their work, they were striving, struggling to get by, to have enough money to live comfortably, to get on in the world. And when they went to the Buddhist monastery or the meditation center, they did exactly the same. Just trying to get on in meditation, as this meditation was another career path for you. They're trying to get all these attainments and achievements. And he realized that's what we call spiritual materialism. And that's not the path we want to go. So here we have spiritual contentment, totally different than the way you live the world outside. Outside, yes, you have to do something, you have to work hard to achieve. But here, there's nothing to achieve. At last I can come to a place, rest and relax and just be at peace. So all the goals which you have, all the things you wanted to achieve on this retreat, please check them into Dani as she'll collect them, so you can't have them at all during the next 8 days. Don't set yourself any goals, because if you do, you will stress out again. You will get frustrated. I want to be peaceful. You never get peaceful by wanting to be peaceful. Let go of the wanting. And what's left? Peace. We're just finishing off our 3-month monastic retreat. So all the monks and the lay people over there have been meditating for the last 3 months. And one of the lay people there who was meditating, they told me, he said, I was trying to meditate, getting nowhere, getting frustrated. And then they said, I decided just to, it's getting late, let's go to bed. And as soon as he lay down, got these beautiful nimittas, great bright lights, brilliant. And he asked me, why did that happen? Been meditating all day, getting nothing. And as soon as it's time to go to sleep, I'm laying down and I can't even go to sleep. I said, it's brilliant. It's because all the day you've been struggling and striving. And now you're letting go, just relaxing. So for the first day or 2, I could invite you to do that practice. Meditate a little bit and then go and lie down, see if it works. If it doesn't work, sit up, meditate some more and then go lie down. Do some letting go, for goodness sake. Because when you learn how to make peace, to relax, you find that peace. And now, core teaching of meditation. Every now and again I put a core teaching, the basic and important part of meditation. And this is the one for today. I don't know what Ajahn Brahm said last night, but we were talking the other day that we sort of imitate each other. But This is the two types of meditation teaching. There are two types of meditation. Those two types of meditation are called second Noble Truth meditation and third Noble Truth meditation. Many of you should know enough about Buddhism to know the second Noble Truth is the cause of suffering. And the cause of suffering, what's the cause of suffering? Craving, yes, that's the cause of suffering, craving. And the third Noble Truth is the end of suffering, nibbana, happiness, peace. And the cause of happiness and peace, which is letting go of craving. So the two types of meditation. Second Noble Truth meditation is when you're sitting here and suffering. I'm not getting peaceful, I'm falling asleep, I'm thinking too much, I hurt, when is this going to end? If you're getting frustrated, if there's any suffering when you're meditating, you have just been doing second Noble Truth meditation. I do not recommend it. But then again, now and again, you have this peaceful meditation. It's a nice, peaceful, joyful, having a good time. Well done. That's called third Noble Truth meditation. It's because you've been letting go. You've been letting go of wanting. You've been letting things be, creating peace. And the third Noble Truth meditation is the one which I recommend. And every other wise person recommends third Noble Truth meditation. So, in the next 8 days or however long it is, if you're meditating and suffering, even getting irritated, getting frustrated, please remember that's because you've been doing second Noble Truth meditation, the wrong meditation. If you're sitting there being peaceful, being happy, well done. You're doing third Noble Truth meditation. Letting go is what causes peace. And also when you're doing that third Noble Truth meditation, when the meditation's working, getting peaceful, getting calm, everything seems to be very joyful and sit for long periods of time, whatever that was you were doing, that was letting go. And this is where we learn, we get the insight, what letting go really is. What is this letting be, which all these monks talk about? Whatever it was, you've just done it because you're peaceful and happy. Whenever you get peace and happiness and joy in meditation, it means you've been letting go. Whenever you get frustrated, it means you've been wanting. It's as simple as that. Second and third Noble Truth meditation. Straight from the basic teaching of a Buddha. So you sit here and you just really let go. And sometimes people say, well, I was letting go and it wasn't working. I was getting frustrated. That's not letting go. You were doing something. You were doing letting go. And it's a big difference between doing letting go and letting go of doing. Get it the right way around, let go of doing. Don't do letting go. And then you know it's the right way because it works. You're peaceful, you're happy. Just like that layperson. They lay down at last for the whole day they started to let go. And they were peaceful. And it all happened by itself. And this is a strange thing in meditation. I've experienced it so many times and many other people experience the same. There are times you're meditating and you just stop. And it all happens by itself. You're sitting there just like being a passenger on Singapore Airlines or Qantas or Air Asia, I don't know how you came here. You're sitting there. Did you pilot the aircraft to come here? Did you steer the aircraft? No, you just got on the seat, sat down and shut up. That's how you meditate. Get on your seat, sit down and shut up. And enjoy the path. In other words, one relaxes. One stops giving orders. One makes peace, is kind, and is gentle. The kindness is also an important part of letting go, because sometimes people, they don't really understand what letting go is until sometimes they get peace and say, oh, that's what it was. But kindness is something we can understand. That's why in this retreat, it's a very kind retreat. I will not take out a big stick. I will not criticize you. When you come to interviews, they are not interrogations. I was not trained by the US Marines of Guantanamo Bay. I'm a very kind monk. And the reason why I'm kind is because that's what I want you to be to yourself. So with that kindness, that's another form of letting go. So if your mind is crazy, all over the place, be kind to it. If you're falling asleep, be kind. Take yourself to your room. You know that's what you have beds for? To sleep on? So please make use of them. Be kind, because in that kindness, you will find you're doing a very important part of letting go. One of the stories which I love telling, because it's one of those key stories, I was teaching a meditation retreat many years ago in Sydney. Just outside of Sydney, maybe 1 or 2 hours from the city. And early on the Saturday morning, one of the ladies checked in. They said they just arrived late at night, maybe 11, 12 o'clock the night before. She was an executive at some big company in Sydney. And to get on the retreat, she had to stay back, to tie up all the loose ends, get everything ready. She didn't really finish all the work because executives never do. But she said, this is good enough. Got in her car and came really, really late. So she missed all the instructions. So I had to give her a personal interview and tell her the instructions. I said, I want you to be kind to yourself, especially kind to your body. I told her, for the first 3 days, just rest. Whenever you want to go to your room and sleep, sleep. Fortunately, that she took my advice. For the first 3 days, she would get up just before breakfast, waddle into the room, have the breakfast, and then go back to bed again. She wouldn't even come for the talk, because she'd get up again just before lunch, have lunch, and then go take a rest again. So she did this for the first 2 or 3 days. And the other people started complaining about her. What's the point of this girl coming to a retreat? She's not meditating, she's not doing anything, just sleeping all day. But I encouraged her. For the first 3 days, she slept so much. The next 3 days, she didn't need to sleep so much. She'd caught up, and her body was relaxed. And the next 3 days, because I gave her interviews every day, and she got more and more peaceful. And by the 6th day, she'd caught up with everybody. She's getting some really nice meditations. But what happened in the last 3 days was the best, because she totally surpassed everybody. Because she was so relaxed and had the right attitude, she got the best meditation. She was a star meditator of that retreat. And that's why I tell that story. She needed to relax because of the stress of her job. She wasn't wasting time. She was practicing kindness to her own body. Not controlling your body, but listening to it and acting accordingly to give your poor body a break. That's why when we built this meditation retreat center, I designed this place, and I insisted that every meditator has their own room and with their own ensuite. I had to stand my ground for that with all the other people on the committee. Said, no, this is what I want, because I know I'll be doing most of the teaching here, and I know that works. So any time for the next, especially the first 3 days, if you feel tired, even a little bit tired, go to your room and take a rest. You'll find that will enhance your meditation enormously. Certainly, it will enhance your health. 90% of sicknesses in our modern world is because people don't know how to rest. You move, you work your body too hard. You know that. So now you have, not the Jhana Grove, this is Sleep Grove retreat center. So catch up for the first few days. Relax and get this body nice and relaxed and peaceful. And if you can do that, then when you catch up on your sleep, you start feeling good. You don't need to sort of sleep so much. You don't feel like sleeping. You've got energy, and it's not that sort of hard energy. It's this beautiful, soft energy. It's peaceful, enjoying your body, enjoying the environment, and it just gets so easy to meditate then. When the body is relaxed and peaceful, meditation is easy. That's one of the reasons why in the story of the Buddha, he was forcing his body so hard for many years, for 6 years, and getting nowhere. Just getting more and more tight and frustrated. And then when he remembered to get in these deep meditations called the jhanas is the way to enlightenment, the first thing which he remembered, this is in the Mahasacika Sutta, the first thing he remembered is it's very difficult to get into these deep states of meditation with a very tired and worn out body. He rested, he ate well, relaxed, and then meditated under the Bodhi tree. And that's why he became enlightened. He looked after his body, he was kind to it. So be kind to your body, relax, be compassionate, let go. And then you'll find, if you look after your body will look after you. One good way of doing that is every now and again throughout this retreat, just ask your body, what do you want today? And I actually do that a lot. On one retreat, that became one, and it's about last year, one of the meditators, that became the whole practice. Throughout the whole retreat, they'd ask their body, what do you want? Mind, what do you want to do today? And the body would sometimes say, I want to snooze. I want to lay down. Okay. And then when they woke up, body, what do you want to do now? Oh, thank you so much. Now I want to meditate. And when they looked after their body that way, the body was so compliant. You look after your body looks after you. The same with the mind. When they meditate in mind, what do you want to do? Do you want to watch the breath, or just want to dull out? Do you want to think about something? They asked the mind, what do you want to do? And the mind said, look, this is really a problem I really want to think about. Okay, mind, off you go. And the mind would think about the problem for a while, and then after a while it would just settle down. Mind, what do you want to do now? Oh, thank you so much for letting me think about that. Now I want to meditate. And they had very, very nice time, because they weren't being the control freak anymore. They're being this very kind and sensitive person. I don't know if any of you girls here have partners. Is your husband sensitive to you? Does he actually know what you want or what you need? Or is he just this person, just so hard to sort of communicate? Why don't you understand what I want, what I need? You men, have you got a wife like that? Have you got a boss like that? You have got a boss like that. Each one of you, it's called you. This very insensitive boss. Come on, meditate. I come all this way. I've got to sit still. I've got to do better than I did last time. Come on, don't eat so much. Come on, get up earlier. Come on, I've determined I'm going to get up every morning for the chanting. That's being a very hard, insensitive boss. So that boss inside of you, who's much worse than the boss at work, where you go every morning to earn your salary. That boss inside of you is a tyrant. I gave a talk in Singapore about the boss from hell. Have you got a boss from hell? Some people have a boss from hell at workplace, but they've also got a boss from hell in their head too. We're always telling you what to do, how to do it now. Come on, be sensitive, be kind. So ask your mind, what do you want to do today? And then a lot of times you'd be surprised. If you ask the mind, it will say, no, it's a waste of time meditating right now, I just can't do that. Which means you don't get so frustrated. And other times, many, many times, they say, yeah, I want to meditate. And then you'll find very peaceful and very good meditating. It's called being mindful, being kind, being sensitive. So you can try that. Ask your body, ask your mind, what do you want? What do you need right now? Whatever it says, if it's at all possible, give it to your body, give it to your mind. I say that because you've all given yourself such a hard time throughout the whole of your life. And I say that with seriousness. No one has treated us as bad as ourselves. And you give yourself a little bit of kindness, a little bit of sensitivity, and it's amazing the results. You get peace, you get happiness, you get the deepest of meditations. So these meditations, you don't meditate through willpower, through force. That's another key teaching. The way of meditation is wisdom power, never willpower. If you like, compassion power, not ill will, not trying to get rid of these things, just like you're a pest exterminator. Do you have pest exterminators in Singapore? Is it a good profession for a Buddhist to be a pest exterminator? But are you a pest exterminator? Exterminating your old boyfriends, exterminating your husband, your wife, your boss, exterminating those parts of yourself you don't like. No, don't be a pest exterminator. Just all these so-called things you don't like, all the white ants of your mind, all the mosquitoes which buzz in your brain called your thoughts, buzz, 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 thinking, 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 thinking. Be kind to them. Let them be. Don't be an exterminator. There's always these other stories which keep coming up, and I mentioned this morning, because I also mentioned it last night in the talk which I gave at Nolamara Centre, back there working again. And it's one of the stories, I mentioned it last night because I've been mentioning it to many of the monks at Serpentine during the last meditation retreat. Very simple story, but highly effective in life and also for your meditation. And also I enjoy telling the story. And it was a story of for those of you who've heard me talk so many times, it's one of the golden oldies. It's the story of the monster who came in to the emperor's palace. So, if you're sitting comfortably, I will tell the story again. A long time ago, in a very wonderful land, there was a very wise and compassionate emperor. And one day, he was out doing some business for the people. And as he was out of his palace, a monster came. This frightening and terrifying demon. And he walked right through into the emperor's palace. And the guards on the gate, they should usually stop people coming in. But this was such a frightening monster. Even they hid out of terror, allowing the monster to walk right through the palace. And no one dared to stop this frightening demon until the monster got into the main hall and sat on the king's throne. That was going too far. So the guards, they put aside their terror and they warned that monster, "Monster, you've gone too far. Get out of here. If you stay there any longer, you'll be in big trouble." You know, one of the reasons I like telling stories like this is, as a monk, you're not allowed to get angry. So I really enjoy it, so I try to pretend to be angry, because it's the only chance I ever get. Get out of here, you don't belong. So, those words of anger, that monster grew an inch bigger, more terrifying, and started to stink even worse. And the language got even more disgusting. That just upset everybody. God, we warned you, get out of here. We'll carve out your butts with our swords. Ugh. I must admit, I'm not good with anger because I haven't had much practice. But I think you can get the message. But every word of ill will, every deed of rage, every thought of anger, that monster grew an inch bigger, more ugly, more smelly, and his language got even worse. And by the time the emperor came back, that monster was so huge. It really was a monstrous monster. And it was so frightening, really terrifying. Even a monk like me will get afraid, let alone you guys. And the smell, the stench coming off that demon was so bad that all the maggots crawling on his skin threw up and were sick. The language was so bad from that demon, very disgusting language. But the emperor, the reason he was the boss was because the emperor was smart. He knew the problem and he knew the solution. Instead of saying, get out of here, the emperor said, welcome. And at that magic word, welcome, the monster grew an inch smaller, less ugly, less smelly, less offensive. It was the first act of kindness, or words of kindness, the monster had received. Welcome. Has anyone got you anything to eat yet? Still breakfast time. We could have some noodles. We could have some porridge. Where are you from? Are you from Singapore? Are you from Australia? Would you like some toast and beans? And at those few kind words, the demon grew an inch smaller, less ugly, less smelly, less offensive. And everybody in the palace realized their mistake. Instead of giving this monster anger, they realized they should give it kindness. So one of them came up to him and said, look, what would you like to eat? Would you like to have some pizza? You know, monster size pizza for you. And 3 of the guards came up and gave him a foot massage. They're all on the same big foot. Have you ever had a foot massage? It's just really nice. And they say, oh, just over there. Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's right. Oh, yes, that's nice. That's lovely. Whenever they got the foot massage in the right place, all the demon grew 2 inches smaller. And they were so kind and caring and sensitive to this monster that in no time at all, the monster was back to the size when he first came in. But they never stopped. They carried on being kind until one more act of kindness. The demon was so tiny, just one more act of compassion, and the monster vanished completely away. Poof, gone. And that's how they got rid of that monster, through kindness. That was a story told by the Lord Buddha. It's in the Udana. Basically, anyway, but I added a bit about the pizza and the maggots and the foot massage. But basically, it was called the story of the anger-eating demon. The Buddha called it an anger-eating monster. You give it anger, and it gets bigger, uglier, more of a problem. And that's such a beautiful simile for many of the things you'll face in life and on this retreat. Give it anger. It shouldn't be this way. I'm going to tell Ajahn Brahm. People should not be making such a noise in the cottages. I'm going to tell Ajahn Brahm. People should not be snoring. We're doing the meditation. I'm going to tell Ajahn Brahm. We should not have this food on this retreat. I'm going to tell Dania. We should not blah, 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 blah. Does that solve the problem? Or does the problem get an inch bigger? Someone slams the door. Ugh. Now the door's been slammed twice. Once outside and once in your head. So, when we give these things kindness, oh, somebody slammed the door. They must have been in a rush, poor thing. Maybe they were sick and had to go to the toilet very quickly. Oh, I feel so sorry for them. Give it kindness. Don't think that stupid idiot. Don't they know I was about to get into jhana enlightenment and they stopped it forever? No. Please. Anger-eating demons. Oh, you're tired when you're supposed to be meditating or listening to a talk. I don't want to be tired. I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be... Those are anger-eating demons again. Give them kindness. Welcome, tiredness. Thank you for visiting me. Stupidity is an anger-eating demon. I don't want to be stupid. Now you're really stupid. So welcome, stupidity. Thank you for coming to visit me again. And be kind to these things, and then they're not so much a problem anymore. And anything which happens in your meditation, anything, whatever state of mind you're in, thinking too much, falling asleep, restlessness, whatever, please let it be and be kind to it. Please be kind to your mind. And all those anger-eating demons inside of you, memories of the past, fears of the future, tension, sickness, especially all those demons inside your mind, be kind to them. Thank you for coming to visit me. And you find because you don't give them anger, they grow an inch smaller, as eventually there's no more demons left in your mind. At last you're at peace. That is core meditation teaching, being kind. And also please be gentle to your poor body. I know that some people think that if you really want to get jhanas, if you really want to get enlightened, you have to go sit on the floor. In fact, even those cushions are a bit soft, you know. Are you really serious about meditating? Throw the cushions away and sit in full lotus. 2 hours, 3 hours. Even better, sit on broken glass or on nails. You know, there are actually people who think like that. They think that, you know, if you sit in a chair, you can't get enlightened. Even the Buddha sat on a chair. So if it's good enough for the Buddha, it's good enough for you. In fact, I often say that people sitting on a chair, you are the wise ones. The ones on the floor, they're the conceited ones. That's not always the case. Depends if you're comfortable or not. If you're comfortable on the floor, fine. But if it hurts, please sit on a chair. Because that's what the chairs were made for sitting on. Because the reason is, if you're kind and gentle to your body, the body will not cause you so much problems. So be very, very gentle. As far as it comes to the time you're meditating, in this retreat, you know, the schedule is very loose. We keep it loose all the time simply because that means you can go at your own pace. You feel like meditating, come and meditate. You walk, sit, go for a walk in the forest, whatever. When you don't have such a strict schedule, it means that for the first few days you won't meditate so much, but you pick up steam, and in the later days you'll be able to meditate. You know, I'd be already probably gone to bed, you may be already meditating. I always find that people meditate longer when you don't have a schedule, simply because they're meditating naturally rather than artificially. And out of the office you have to have a schedule. But this is freedom, this is peace. So make your own schedule. You sit down and meditate, ask your mind what you want to do, meditate. The mind's had enough, it'll come out. Then you ask your mind, what do you want to do now? Go for a walk, have a cup of tea, have a lay down, whatever. And that way it will be quite natural, and you'll be surprised. If you're kind to your mind, the mind will respond, be sensitive to you, and will give you so many nice, long, quiet, peaceful meditations. And that's how it works. I did promise last night, or early this morning, the rooms to my left, to my right, behind those green doors over there, and at the back, those are walking meditation rooms. When we built this place, we realized walking meditation is important, and in order to facilitate that, so you don't have to go so far, you've got these rooms right next door where you can do walking meditation on the red carpets. We look after you so much, we wanted to give you red carpet treatment for the walking meditation. The red carpet's over there. So all you need to do there, because sometimes sitting down is sometimes hard on your body, you start on one end of the walking meditation path, and you just walk to the other end at your own pace, neither slow nor fast, just average. If somebody else is walking there, this is not Olympic Games, you don't have to beat them, and walk faster. Nor do you have to see, actually in meditation retreats, usually they try and see who can walk the slowest. So you see two people, sitting next to each other, trying to walk slower than the one next to them. Because they think the more slow you are, the more mindful you are. There's nothing to do with that. Actually, there's a Buddhist joke about that. Because in some of these retreats, you may have been on retreats before, and people get so calm and still, they do naturally tend to walk slowly. So there's a story of this person who had just finished a meditation retreat over in Singapore. And the following morning, after the retreat had finished on a Sunday, they went to work in Singapore Zoo. And the head keeper saw them and think, my goodness, they're so calm and peaceful and still. What can I do with this guy? And so he thought, I've got the job for you. This morning, you can look after the tortoise enclosure. A very good job for a meditator, because tortoises go very slowly. So he said, you look after tortoise enclosure. And he said, yes, I will look after. He's mindful of every word. The tortoises. And off he walked meditation to the tortoise enclosure. And at lunchtime, the head keeper decided to check up on him, see how he was going. And when he went to the tortoise enclosure in the middle of Singapore Zoo, what did he see? The door was open, and all the tortoises were gone. And the head keeper said, what's happened? And the meditator said, well, I opened the door and whoosh. That's one of my favorite Buddhist jokes. It's a real Buddhist joke. Only meditators understand that. Well, that's what happens when you go walking meditation. You go very, very softly, and some other people go whoosh as you go past them. So you sit standing there on the end of the path, and you just go to the other end of the path. Just make it being kind, being gentle, making peace. So you can just let go of all the past and the future. Who cares what the time is? Just enjoy. So number one, be in the present moment. Number two, stop all this thinking business. So you're just there in the moment, just enjoying walking. And the nice thing about the walking meditation, when you get to the end, you have to turn around again and come back again. The walking meditation, you don't get anywhere. And it's a great thing, especially for Singaporeans, to do something where you get nowhere. Where you end up where you started. That's why I like it. So see if you can do lots and lots of walking meditation. eventually what happens, you become very aware of the movements of your feet when you're walking. Not forcing it, you just know that, because that's the only thing which is happening. The feet are lifting up, they're going forward. Do it with, if you can, without your socks on or whatever, because then you can actually feel the floor, with your feet. You become very sensitive, and you'll feel the carpet underneath your feet. You become very aware and sensitive to your body, and just to the act of walking. It becomes very peaceful and very beautiful, very delightful. You get some very peaceful, quiet states of meditation. Again, I remember this years and years ago, maybe 25 years ago. There was a Catholic retreat place up to the north of Perth. Over here in Perth, we get on together, all the different religions, except those evangelists, the charismatic Christians. They don't get on with anybody. But anyway, I don't think they even get on with Jesus, but they don't know that. But anyway, back to this Catholic lady. I've got to be careful sometimes, but I think you know what I mean. But anyway, this Catholic lady, so she invited me to teach a one-day meditation retreat over there. And she was like running the center, rushing around, being busy, cooking all the meals, and looking after everybody. And when it came to doing some sitting meditation, she was absolutely hopeless. She couldn't stop at all. She was one of these workaholics, very restless. But then when I told her about this walking meditation, she went out on the veranda, and she came out after and said, "That was so wonderful." And there's one thing which just fit her perfectly. She got really peaceful. And I see her every now and again, Wendy, and she says, I still do that walking meditation, Ajahn Brahm, which you taught me. Thank you so much. Because it gave her peace in her life when she had no other peace at all. Simply just walking, feeling the sensations in her feet, just being in a moment without a care in the world. That was her meditation. And some of you who are restless sitting in chairs or on the floor, that might be your meditation, your place of getting peace and freedom and enlightenment. So try that while you're here. And if you don't like walking in this little room over here, there's so many other places to walk in this retreat center. 140 acres. That's huge. That's bigger than one of your suburbs. And it's all for you to walk and enjoy the forest. Just being in the moment, being here. And then you'll find how to make peace. Be kind, be gentle. Then you will have peace. You will have kindness. You have this beautiful gentleness. And that is what meditation is. Peace, relaxed, still, naturally. So that's how it works. It's so simple, isn't it? So easy. If you'd only follow instructions. What happens as soon as I go out? You're back to normal again. Come on, sit quietly. Watch your breath. Do this, do that. So please follow the instructions. Be kind to your body and mind. Okay, so are there any questions about the first talk on this retreat?